Today, I invite you to delve into the mysteries that transcend the visible and to perceive, in a subtle and profound way, the meaning of V.I.T.R.I.O.L in alchemy. This ancient acronym, whose letters unfold the message Visita Interiora Terrae, Rectificando Invenies Occultum Lapidem, reveals a path of transformation that goes far beyond the mere transmutation of matter. Within it lies an invitation to an inner journey, a deep dive into the silence of being, where essence and the potential for a silent and authentic renewal reside. In a time when mystery intertwines with everyday life, the ancient message we now know as V.I.T.R.I.O.L, Visita Interiora Terrae, Rectificando Invenies Occultum Lapidem, emerged. This enigma, woven into the fabric of the alchemical tradition, was not merely intended to convert lead into gold, but to reveal the subtle path that leads to self-knowledge and the transformation of being. To utter these words is as if the universe whispers an invitation for each individual to turn inward, to contemplate in silence the layers of their existence. The very essence of this teaching lies in the idea that, by entering the deep recesses of the soul, one can find the hidden light that has long awaited its emergence, transforming the raw matter of everyday life into something noble and luminous. Thus, the call of V.I.T.R.I.O.L invites the seeker to abandon superficial certainties and surrender to an inner journey of profound discovery. The message that unfolds in each letter of the acronym dates back to times when wisdom was not only written in books, but also engraved in gestures, in the symbols of sacred structures, and in nature itself. By invoking Visita, the teaching urges us to embark on an internal pilgrimage, to face what we often hesitate to recognize, our fears, shadows, and fragilities. The word interiora reminds us that this journey does not take place in the external world, but through a vast and mysterious territory that resides within every human being. By evoking Terra, the message merges the human with the natural, revealing that the soil that sustains life also holds the secrets of an existence that is simultaneously material and spiritual. This union of the tangible with the intangible prepares us for the next stage of transformation, which unfolds gradually in a continuous process of rectification and rebirth. 2. The inner journey, between earth and spirit. Upon embarking on the path of self-knowledge, the being is compelled to transcend the limitations of the tangible world, venturing into a deep dive within themselves. On this journey, each step becomes a subtle reconciliation between matter and spirit, where earthly experience, with its solidity and imperfections, intertwines with the soul's highest aspirations. The earth itself, in its vastness and constancy, emerge not only as the foundation of life, but as a mirror of the human condition, a receptacle where chaos and order coexist, outlining the basis upon which the true essence of being is built. As the seeker traverses this inner landscape, they encounter a realm of emotions and thoughts, where each corner reveals both the scars left by past experiences and the seeds of unexplored potential. This journey is not a simple, linear passage. It resembles a labyrinth of mirrors, where each reflection brings forth both luminous and shadowy aspects of our personality. Coexisting with these dualities requires an attitude of acceptance and compassion, in which the individual learns to face their imperfections with the same care devoted to the most beautiful aspects within them. In this process, the concept of rectification assumes the role of an almost imperceptible yet profound transformative movement. Just as fire purifies metal and reveals the gold hidden within it, an honest and serene gaze upon one's own vulnerabilities allows for the identification of what needs to be refined. This inner purification is not an act of severity, but an invitation to understanding and self-forgiveness. It is through the consistency of this inner work that the being gradually integrates the lessons from their pains and challenges, transforming each obstacle into an opportunity for growth and each tear into a sign of the path toward elevation. The inner journey thus reveals itself as a delicate balance between the tangible and the ethereal. By opening to the experiences of the physical world, the touch of the breeze, the scent of wet earth after the rain, the firmness of steps on ancient soil, the individual also connects with the subtleties of existence that dwell in the realm of the spirit. This integration between body and soul is what allows for genuine transformation, where the material and the immaterial merge to create a new way of being. In each moment of contemplation, when inner silence becomes present, the seeker discovers that true wealth does not reside in possessions or external certainties, but in the ability to listen to the inner voice that guides them toward a fuller and more harmonious existence. The experience of walking this path is filled with moments of profound revelation. Amid challenges and uncertainties, the being encounters insights that often arise subtly. A sudden realization during meditation, a feeling of peace when contemplating nature, or even the silent awakening upon recognizing a long-forgotten truth. These small epiphanies, though discreet, carry the power to transform. One's entire perception shifts, highlighting the importance of experiencing the process of self-knowledge with patience and dedication. As the journey progresses, the seeker becomes an attentive observer of their own patterns and behaviors. They begin to recognize that each intense emotion, whether exuberant joy or deep sadness, is an integral part of a vast mosaic that composes the human experience. This perception leads to a greater state of awareness, where there is no judgment, only full acceptance of oneself. In this context, the duality between the world of matter and the universe of spirit ceases to be a conflict and becomes an enriching dialogue in which both aspects complement and empower each other. The interaction between the solidity of the earth and the lightness of the spirit provides a fertile environment for the blossoming of a new way of living. The being, upon recognizing the interconnectedness of their body and soul, frees themselves from the illusions that keep them bound to a fragmented vision of reality. They discover that the inner journey is a continuous dance, where each movement, each breath, contributes to the construction of a more integrated self, aligned with the rhythms of the universe. This harmony, which reveals itself over time, is the manifestation of true alchemy, the ability to transform earthly experience into a path of spiritual growth and self-transcendence. Throughout this journey, the human spirit proves to be resilient, capable of embracing its contradictions, and learning that imperfection is, in itself, a feature of its beauty. Every difficulty faced and every challenge overcome serves as a step toward a greater understanding of oneself. This internal evolution, marked by moments of introspection and revelation, allows the individual to go beyond appearances and approach the essence that makes them unique. Thus, the journey between earth and spirit is not only a path of self-knowledge, but also a celebration of existence itself, where the fusion between the material and the immaterial becomes a harmonious symphony of light and shadow. In this continuous walk between the palpable and the ethereal, the seeker discovers that the essence of self-knowledge is present in every gesture, in every breath, and above all, in every silence that makes itself heard in the innermost recesses of being. This realization is not the result of an immediate revelation, but the accumulation of small moments of lucidity that, together, weave the tapestry of a full and conscious life. Third, ancestral wisdom and its convergence with modern science. As we advance on the path of self-knowledge, we encounter a point of confluence between ancient teachings that have traversed the centuries and the discoveries of contemporary science. At this crossroads of knowledge, mystical tradition and modern investigation engage in an unexpected harmony, revealing that the path of inner transformation is not exclusive to a single paradigm, but rather a rich and complex synthesis where the symbolic meets the empirical. The ancient masters, with their words inscribed on papyri and carved into the stones of sacred structures, conveyed teachings that remind us of the correspondence between heaven and earth. Hermes Trismegistus, in his Corpus Hermeticum, presents us with the idea that as above, so below, a maxim that echoes as an invitation to perceive the unity of the universe. This perception, as profound as it is simple, serves as a foundation for understanding that every element of creation, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, is intrinsically linked to a greater whole. This holistic vision not only underpinned the practices of the alchemists, but also inspired generations of seekers who saw nature as a blueprint for spiritual evolution. The spirit of those who dedicated their lives to the art of transmutation, such as Paracelsus, immortalized the idea that true alchemy lies not in the mere transformation of physical elements, but in the ability to recondition the human spirit. In his writings, the experience of pain, the awakening of emotions, and the struggle against one's own imperfections are exalted as indispensable steps toward inner purification. This perspective, which resonates with the idea that every challenge carries within it the seed of evolution, finds an echo in the words of modern scholars who seek to understand human behavior through the lens of psychology. Thus, ancient wisdom is not relegated to a purely mystical plane, but reemerges as a practical guide in the journey of integrating the scattered fragments of the self. Similarly, the enigmatic words of Fulcanelli remind us that the symbols adorning cathedrals and ancient structures are not mere decorations, but languages imbued with hidden meanings. These symbols, gradually unveiled by the keen eyes of alchemists, act as bridges between the tangible and the intangible, indicating that the mystery of existence is revealed in the interpretation of details, in the careful reading of the symbols. Signs left by nature itself, this symbolic approach closely aligns with modern ideas that emphasize the importance of archetypes in shaping the human psyche. The integration between the ancient and the modern gains even sharper contours with the advent of analytical psychology, where the figure of Carl Gustav Jung stands out in interpreting alchemical symbols as manifestations of the archetypes of the collective unconscious. Jung understood that the search for the hidden stone, the ideal of complete transformation, is ultimately a metaphor for the process of individuation, in which the individual integrates the various aspects of their personality to achieve a state of balance and wholeness. This perspective, which merges the mysticism of antiquity with the investigative methods of the mind, demonstrates that the inner journey is a multifaceted experience where emotion and reason intertwine inseparably. By contemplating this integration, the seeker is invited to realize that knowledge is not confined within the boundaries of a single discipline. Every discovery, every insight that emerges from the union of tradition and innovation contributes to the construction of a broader understanding of existence. It is in the convergence between the wisdom of ancient masters and the revelations of modern science that the true essence of V.I.T.R.I.O.L is unveiled, symbolizing the eternal quest for harmony between the visible and the invisible, between the body and the soul. 4. The awakening of consciousness and the revelation of the hidden stone. Upon reaching the pinnacle of this inner journey, the seeker experiences a moment of awakening that transcends the ordinary. It is in this instant that consciousness expands, illuminating the deepest recesses of the self, where shadow and doubts once dwelled. This experience, the result of a slow process of rectification, reveals that true transformation is not an abrupt change, but rather the accumulation of small unveilings that, together, converge toward a new perception of the self. In this state of clarity, the individual begins to understand that every pain and every challenge faced serves to shape their essence, preparing the ground for an inner rebirth. The integration of lived experiences then allows dualities, light and shadow, chaos and order, to reconcile in profound harmony. This process resembles the action of fire, which purifies metal and reveals the gold hidden within it, serves as a powerful metaphor. In the same way, an attentive and sincere gaze upon one's own fragilities makes it possible to discover a latent strength capable of transmuting imperfection into sources of wisdom. This inner alchemy, permeated by symbolic and ancestral language, makes it evident that the path of evolution is not marked by ruptures, but by a continuous dance between opposites, where each step toward self-knowledge paves the way for the manifestation of a complete being. In this scenario of light and integration, the long-sought hidden stone emerges as the ultimate symbol of inner realization. It represents not only the pinnacle of a journey of self-transformation, but also the union between the microcosm of the self and the macrocosm of the universe. Upon discovering this essence, the seeker recognizes that true alchemy lies in the ability to transcend limitations and embrace the totality of their existence. It is in this state of communion that the eternal possibility of renewal is revealed, a field where every heartbeat becomes a tribute to the infinite capacity of the spirit to reinvent itself and connect with the divine. As this journey comes to an end, one is left with the impression that true transformation resides in the courage to look within and accept that, in order to reach the essence of being, one must transcend the limits of the known. It is in the delicate dance between the material and the spiritual that the secret of life is found, a mystery that, though ancient, continues to renew itself with each moment we commit to seeking the hidden truth. This quest, as personal as it is universal, reminds us that the greatness of existence lies in the ability to transform the ordinary into something sublime, revealing that each of us, in essence, is an alchemist in constant creation. Thank you for watching.